Reports have started to surface that Jimmy Butler, all-star forward for the Minnesota Timberwolves, used to be an all-star forward for Chicago Bulls, is fed up with the nonchalant attitude and the laziness of the Minnesota Timberwolves cornerstones of that franchise, and Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Said he will not re-sign back with the Timberwolves, even though his former coach, Tom Thibodeau, is there. It's the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know we do more than boxing. So let's talk this NBA talk, man. And I really didn't sense that, with them on the floor. I watched a few of their games through the season, and I didn't sense that he was fed up with him. I didn't see him being, all demonstrative or angry or trying to light a fire in their ass, on the bench a lot of the times. And I think, Jimmy Butler sees a potential and knows that he can get way more out of Andrew Wiggins and way more out of on the defensive end from Karl Anthony Towns. And just knowing Jimmy Butler's story is a guy who the summer before I think he became an all-star, he was just known as a defensive stopper with Chicago, and he put in so much work. He said he didn't even buy furniture, TV. He just hooped and slept and ate, and that's all he did the whole summer before he became a household name. And you could see the improvement in his game. I can't remember exactly what year it was, but you could see that he definitely improved. And, offensively, he was a juggernaut. And defensively, he gave it all he wanted. Him and Kawhi Leonard was the only two guys I would think give Brian buckets and defend him without getting tired. So Jimmy Butler knows what it takes as a young player to make that jump from an okay player to I'm here in the NBA. And he just sees how probably, young they are, laughable, joking around, and they don't really not dedicated to their craft. And you can see that in both of these guys. I mean, Andrew Wiggins, he got all the potential in the world to be one of the best two-way players like Jimmy Butler. Karl Anthony Towns got all the ability in the world to be a great big man. He don't get that effort every night on the defensive end. And if they say Jimmy Butler is not going to re-sign. I heard another rumor that the Timberwolves was actively trying to trade Andrew Wiggins. They just gave him like $100 million extension last year, which I don't think was smart, but it may look smart now that Jimmy Butler wants out. And I don't think, the Timberwolves brass can put Jimmy Butler back in that locker room now that these reports have surfaced. And I'm hearing the Chicago Tribune or a Chicago writer let this out. And, if Jimmy Butler didn't say off the record, then he wanted this to get out. And he's already refused a contract extension from the Minnesota Timberwolves, adding fuel to this fire. And if I'm them, I trade them. Where you want to go? They got enough firepower, you know what I'm saying? So they really just need fillers, and Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns to get more serious about the game. And they're young. Jimmy Butler can't expect everybody to be what they are, 20, 21, 22, 23, to have the same mind state that he had when he came to the league. Because remember, I think he played 3 or 4 years at Marquette. These are 2 one-and-dones from Kansas and Kentucky. You can't expect everybody to mature at the same pace. And at the end of the day, if you feel like he had a race, he in a race for time to win a championship, and he feel like he gonna retire or his time gonna run out, man, I feel him. If you want to get to the championship type of caliber team, or you want more of a veteran team, I feel him. But sometimes you got to lead by example and not just talk about it. Now, if you try to lead by example in the locker room, I feel you. But sometimes it takes longer. Remember, these are kids. These ain't guys who was in the dormitory eating rummy noodles and, trying to figure out how they was going to make a jump, after hours, and how they was going to find food. And, these are kids, They just came out not too long ago out of college. They probably 23, 24, 25. They still enjoying the NBA life, and they eventually learn to win. I guarantee you they will. They eventually learn to be professional about their craft. It's just going to take time. Jimmy Butler impatient like, it's going to happen overnight, and it don't happen like that, And I'm siding on the side that it will happen if I'm Jimmy Butler. Maybe he just don't like being in Minnesota, and he could be using them as an excuse to get out of Minnesota, and I think that might be an issue. I think that's definitely what it is, because he was in L.A., I don't think he would be complaining about it. Or if he was in a destination that he, area that he want to be, I don't think he'd be complaining about it. I do think it's a dash or a drop of scapegoatism, if that's a word, which I know it's not, that he's using these as a scapegoat to get out of Minnesota, And they got the talent. He want to go to Brooklyn with Kyrie. This team still got more talent than you and Kyrie in Brooklyn. You know, because D'Angelo Russell gonna have to move up out of there because Kyrie and him is the same position. You know. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think it's gonna happen for him. But if he don't want to sit around, if I'm Minnesota, I'll move him. I ask him where you want to go, and I'll move him. I'm definitely trying to contact the Los Angeles Lakers. You know, I'm definitely trying to contact them. You want Jimmy Butler? You know, I mean, we could use a Kyle Kuzma. We could use a Lonzo Ball. And, you know, y'all can use a Jeff Teague, or we could just make Lonzo and Jeff Teague work for now. You know, we can use a Brandon Ingram, you know, to replace Jimmy Butler. You know, I think that'd be a wonderful spot for Jimmy Butler out there in Los Angeles, especially if they can't spree Kyrie. And then next year, Kawhi Leonard. Next year, if Kawhi Leonard becomes available, you have Kawhi Leonard, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, and you Gucci. You know what I'm saying? If you keep Josh Hart, or you can keep Kuzma or somebody, that's cool. You know, as soon as Lonzo get healthy, you can all go ahead and swing Lonzo for Jimmy Butler. Torn meniscus usually ain't that serious. So, you know, if Jimmy Butler really wants out, it's rumors that he want to meet up with Kyrie in Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn is a nice spot. You know, don't get me wrong. I've been there a few times. Well, one time. The Barclays Center is amazing, but, you know, do you really want to? If you really want to win, you really that adamant about winning the championship, you really that adamant about being around veterans that share the same goals and share the same, you know, thoughts and goals once again as you. I mean, go over to Los Angeles Lakers. I think that'll be a wonderful trade for Minnesota, you know, to get some of those young pieces over there and infuse with some of these young pieces, and hopefully they can grow together. But don't forget, if you enjoy college sports, football and basketball in particular, I have a new sports page for just strictly college basketball and football. We already started dropping some content. Me, the Kelly, Enigma, and Colossal Sports TV. It's called the S1210 College Sports Most Wanted. The link is in the description, the first link in the description. Also, if you got a video request or you want to DM me, I'm at the Boston Clinic and more on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All those links are in the description, man. Take you right there. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Most definitely appreciate it. And like I said, video requests, all the links in the description. Business inquiries or business partnerships or collaborations. Hit me on my business email or at one of the 3 social media sites. So I definitely appreciate it. We're gonna keep it moving today. And let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Y'all know what it is. One time for the one time. We gone.